to give you a little background on our distillery or how we grew into a distillery. Otisa is the sugar mill that belongs to my family, and it is the first organic sugar mill in the world. It is the first certified organic project in Paraguay, and the first organic sugar ever produced back in 1993. 94 was the first crop. So we started an industry in Paraguay that pretty much saved the sugar industry in Paraguay, because most of the mills started failing because Paraguay is a small country. Right now we're only 7 million people in a country roughly the size of California. So it's a large country compared to European countries, but with a very small population and small market. So back 30 years ago, the economies of scale were killing the sugar mills, and being a very isolated country and with agricultural practices not very modern, it was easy to transition to organic, and it started a whole movement here in Paraguay. Not only that, we were the first fair trade project in Paraguay. We imitated the model set up in Peru and in Costa Rica for fruits, where the co-ops would bring the fruits to get processed, and the processor did not have to be a cooperative, did not have to be owned by a cooperative. So we set it up that way, and it's working very well. And of course, it got replicated by other sugar mills, and now it's the accepted worldwide way of operating with fair trade sugar, where the farmer gets a share of the final price of a product, and thus ensuring a better way of life or economic level. So our project has been developing with sugar for a long time, and we also in the sugar mill we produce organic alcohol. Mm-hmm. Organic alcohol was not easy to certify or even recognize as organic because there wasn't much use of it. The market wasn't there. So we kind of developed it. Now it's a big market. And of course, we are kind of left out with a big market because now we're not a big producer. And one thing led to another. Having an organic distillery producing organic alcohol led to an organic distillery producing organic rum. David and I go back 25 years, Dave.
Yes, sir.
We met in college. We
we're
we
like
actually
40 years old.
Yeah, you look very old, Dave. We met in college, and we started a business in the US 15 years ago, a distribution business. And the business grew very well. The company's it's called Fairly Traded Organics. It's working very well, still going strong in the US market, especially. But we decided we want to make something, not just buy and sell. So together with David, Andrew, and myself, we partnered up with Otisa to build Legado Organic Craft Distillery. And the project we started 3 years ago, and we've started distilling this year in June. Right around my birthday was our first distillation. The business plan for our organic distillery at the beginning was focusing on neutral organic alcohol, and building up rum stock for a premium quality rum, organic rum, fair trade rum. But the Corona accelerated everything. People were at home. People had the idea that, of course, in our business project was building white labels for people, for customers. And we just took off. We right now have 4 white label projects.
We have 6 projects.
And surprising, 4 are for rum, 2 are for gin. So we're also making organic fair trade gin. The first distillery in Paraguay to ever make gin, so the first Paraguayan gin. And the rum we're at the need to churn out rum now to build up more stock, and we're having a lot of fun, learning a lot while we do it. But there's a lot of people with very good backgrounds in rum in Paraguay. As you may or may not know, Paraguay's national drink is rum. Here it's called caña paraguaya. It's of course made out of caña de azúcar, and it's closer to a rum agricole because it's fermented from rum, not from rum juice, but from here it's called miel de caña, which is honey cane, and you obtain that by decantation and heat application to the juice, and that is what is fermented, and it's been the national drink here for hundreds of years. So there's a lot of knowledgeable people also in that kind of rum. Our rum is a little bit more sophisticated, if you want to say, right, Dave?
It's a more Caribbean style.
It's a Caribbean style. What we do is ferment the molasses obtained from the organic sugar mill. So we can trace the organic source of sugarcane the same way that we trace with the organic sugar. So these molasses we bring to the distillery and distill into the very beautiful organic rum we're now producing.
And if I can put it bluntly, some people say, in Paraguay, based on my experience, it's easy. Everything is organic. You don't need to do anything with pesticides because the climate, etc. So yeah, of course, Paraguay from sugarcane to what we talked about just now, the stevia. Of course, it's organic because that's the environment and climate.
That is actually a misconception, Pedro. Paraguay is the third largest exporter of soybean in the world, the fifth largest exporter of wheat in the world, and number 2 in chia. So yeah, Paraguay is not all organic. We have developed an organic valley in Arroyos y Esteros where we're at. So the only agriculture that we have in our area is organic. We have rice up north. Paraguay is also, I think, the 7th or 8th exporter of rice in the world. So we have a lot of industrial agriculture. So there's a lot of pesticide. There's a lot of non-environmental friendly practices that are taken over a part of the country, I'd say. In parts, we're pushing the organic agenda to make sure sustainability is there, because these very industrialized agricultural practices are not good for the environment, are not good for the long haul. Right now, we are a developing country. Of course, I have to say it. It's good for us now because we need to develop as a country. Infrastructure, healthcare, all of that needs money. It has to come from somewhere. And so we cannot go and tell these big farmers, hey, no, you can't do this. You need to do it organically and bring your yields down to half or less than half. That is, you can't do it in a third world country, but we can have these spots where they can see success working the land organically and protecting the environment, and that will lead to a future where, okay, we can spread and say we can do it here, a little bit there, and of course, if the market has to help.
You see a growth and demand also from Europe in terms of organic, fair trade, ethical, and I think that also, when I was talking to in the Netherlands, you have a few private labels, distillers, or private bottlers, and I said, yeah, we focus on organic rum, and then almost everyone will say, yeah, I think it's from Paraguay, and everything goes all the time to Paraguay, and I think that it looks like you're the only country, if you look at sugarcane and rum production, that can have the label of organic, and even more, the label of fair trade.
Well, we have developed that. It took a long time. It's not easy, and it's not. And here is my little gripe with the organic market, especially Europe and the US, where there is a growing demand. So the growing demand is pushing or trampling over the organic principles many times, because just to get more organic rum or organic vodka, or whatever you want to call that, they need volume. And volume doesn't go with the same. I mean, they are cancelable. Because if you go volume, you need these large extensions of fields that need to be tended with pesticides and chemicals and machines, and it does not. It is not organic anymore. But the market pushes it. So it pushes price down, and it pushes non-organic practices. So there has to be a meeting point between the demand and the supply, where the demand says, we want a lot of organic rum, whiskey, lettuce, whatever you want to call it. But we cannot say, okay, we want a lot of it, but we want it at the same price as conventional.
Yeah.
Because that pushes producers to non-organic practices, because they cannot keep up. They have to use.
That's just consumer knowledge, right? And so that's while everybody's familiar with organic in theory or in name, they don't necessarily understand the underpinnings of it or what actually goes into the production of an organic product. You have folks that think they know what organic is, but they don't truly understand what it takes to make that organic product. So there's a lack or a gap of consumer knowledge there, right? And so that's partly on the consumer, but that's partly on the producers as well. The producer coalitions or the producer alliances likely need to do a little bit better job of educating the general consumer public to all the details that Ariel just shared, right? You can't, for example, what is it in Brazil, Ariel? Out of a hectare, they can get 200 tons of cut cane.
220,
but here
240.
And here in Paraguay, how many do you get per hectare?
The country's average is less than 40, but we are very efficient organic producers. When I say we, is Otisa and the Otisa shareholders. We work with over 800 small farmers, and we average a little bit more. Otisa, in our fields, we average around 75, and Arroyos y Esteros averages a little bit over 50. But that's practices, good practices. But you can see the big difference with an industrialized project. And of course, you have other, not just the yields. What it means is you need people to cut it. So harvesting sugarcane is very hard if you don't burn the fields. So most of the world, India, Brazil, and the large producers, they light the fields on fire. And after lighting these fields on fire, in come the harvesters, in some instances, and in others come people, workers, coming in, covering their faces with rag and working in freshly burnt field. Those are not working conditions or very good working conditions. Organic rules, we can't burn the field. So it takes longer, it's slower, it's more expensive. There's a lot of things that go into that the consumer, when he goes and says, okay, this is organic rum and this is conventional rum, but organic rum costs twice. Oh, these guys are ripping me off. No, we're not. It's very hard to make. It's very expensive to make.
But do you see a change then? And I think in a second we come up also to the distillery. But do you see a change in the consumer mindset that they are more interested, want to learn more? The things like no additives, transparent, the labeling, show me what's inside, how it is produced. I think the trend is also more like not going to the big ones, but then trying something new.
That's the main thing, and this is where the work you're doing is very laudable, and I hope you keep it up, because the consumer is the smart guy, and now with social media connection, we can tell our story. If someone buys our rum label, they can scan it with their phone, the little code, or Google the name, and they will learn the story. They will hear me tell about how Paraguay works. They will hear Dave about how an expat coming to Paraguay and working here, what's the experience. They will be able to see who the money it's going to the farmer growing sugarcane in a field in Paraguay. And that will cut, or that process is cutting through these middlemen or large corporations that, of course, we all want to make money to live better. But most of these are profit driven endeavors of these large corporations. Just want lower price or a bigger margin and just push whatever is in trend right now. Next year it's some other thing. Okay, get rid of this. And the consumer is smarter than that. And the consumer is realizing that now, with the power they have with information, social media, and the ability to contact directly, because right now, anyone that picks up a bottle, if you pick up a bottle of, I don't want to sue brands, but a very known Scotch whiskey, and you can't really learn you will learn the marketing story, but you won't be able to contact whoever's behind it. You won't be able to reach whoever's in the board, or where this in the beginning stages of the product. But with a small company, with a craft company, be it a craft beer company or a craft rum company, you can contact Dave and myself, or you can contact the guy that is actually sitting there and making sure that the distillery is working. And these contacts help the consumer identify with the product, enjoy it more, not only enjoy the effect of a buzz or of a taste, or of but the whole experience. You're drinking with Dave and Ariel when you're drinking our rum, because you get to contact us and you get to learn about the experience.
Well, and I think on top of that, to couple with that, with the fair trade aspect, right? I mean, there is a conscientious consumer out there that now wants their dollar to mean more when they spend it, right? So they make choices every time they go to that supermarket or go to the liquor store. They're becoming more educated, and they can look on, like he said, they can scan that QR code and they can learn about where that dollar's going. Do they want it to go to somewhere in Puerto Rico to a big company, or do they want it to go, to these folks down in Paraguay? And 22% of that dollar is going to help support organic agriculture. It's also going to the cooperatives of these family farmers. And in the future, what we envision to help further that educational process is that we're going to have these videos where you can actually see. I mean, you could tour our fields. It's a virtual tour of our fields, a virtual talk with the people that work with us, the farmers that help produce the cane for the Otisa sugar mill. So, this consumer is not only going to feel like they're connected with us, the guys that are in there making the rum, they're also going to feel connected with the guy that's out there swinging the sickle and cutting that cane. It all starts with that. And for us, it all starts
Machete. We don't use sickles.
Well, it's true. So,
it's a good point, and I think to complete that, maybe a good thing. One thing good about COVID, you see in the Netherlands or in Europe, people are not spending their money outside. The restaurants are closed here in the Netherlands. The bars are closed. That's a bad thing. But instead of, now people say, well, I used to drink a good wine or a good whiskey or good rum in a bar and try something new. Now, and then for my home, let's say bartendering, I would buy the cheap wine and the cheaper rum or the cheaper whiskey. But now I have more money to spend. So let me try and this different kind of rum. Never tasted it, but it's always there and always fascinated me. So yeah, I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to go for this one. And they like it. And then you see also then they're leveling up to a different kind of palate taste, different type of consuming. I said, well, okay, now I'm on this level. I used to be on this level. Now I'm here. I'm going to want to stay here, of course. I want to keep buying the good wine or the good rum, also for home consumption. So that's they see the trend in Europe, in the Netherlands, at least, that it's growing for more educated, sophisticated palate taste, let's say, from the consumer side.
Well, I think parallel with that, we were just talking about the smarter consumer. You go back 20 years ago, and I think folks would produce an organic certified product that was 100% legit, but they felt like they could get away with a lower quality, perhaps. And that was part of the organic feel of the product, that, it was less refined, it was less quality. For a sugar, maybe it didn't have the granulation that the consumer was used to, the quality, right? Well, now you've had this evolution, and it's a natural growth curve, right? So now you have organic producers like Otisa that are making a world-class product that competes, quality wise with an industrially produced product. And that goes along with the rums. So you go back, 15 years ago, and they slap a label on it, say it's organic, and it is, but the quality wasn't there. It was just kind of like aguardiente in a bottle, and it was rough. It was hot. It burned, and people said, "Yeah, great, that's organic, but it tastes like crap." So there's been this growth curve where now you're making truly exquisite tasting rums. You're getting a high quality product that's parallel, or in some instances better than what the rums that folks before say this is a great rum. Well, they can also put the thumbs up to the organic rum, taste the taste, right? And so I think it's all coming together at the right time. You have this consumer knowledge that's increasing, but you also have a quality product that's increasing on the organic spectrum.
What Dave is getting to is that you can have an organic, high quality product without sacrificing the environment, the rights of the workers, or the good practices. So
correct.
Why then go with something that's on par or subpar that is hurting someone?
Yeah.
So the consumer is smart enough to check what he's drinking right now, or check what he's eating.
Y switching to Spanish, y ahora tienes tu destilería, y después ¿qué? ¿Qué eran los grandes obstáculos para mismo tener la destilería y tener la producción?
Bueno, el obstáculo principal para tener la destilería era animarse. Es algo nuevo para nosotros, es algo que nuestra destilería anterior, no era una destilería fina. Esta es una destilería fina, de producción sofisticada y de calidad. Pero era animarse. Nuestro siguiente gran paso, que pensábamos tomarlo, creo que era en el 2024, Dave, que era salir con nuestra propia marca. Ya la vamos a adelantar y vamos probablemente a salir este año con nuestra propia marca. Por circunstancias que se dieron, estamos muy contentos, entonces ya estamos arrancando.
Y también, bueno, ustedes no son rum producers per se, entonces, ¿cómo buscar el conocimiento? Hablar con otros peers en Paraguay, o ir a Costa Rica, o ir a no sé qué, al Caribe.
Nosotros decidimos por educarnos. Cursos, entrenamiento y educación, leer, aprender, probar, y también usar el conocimiento de gente en Paraguay con el estilo de ron de Paraguay, y aplicar eso a los conocimientos que fuimos adquiriendo a medida que nos íbamos preparando para esto.
Por ejemplo, hay una escuela muy famosa en los Estados Unidos, se llama Moonshine University, muy conocido. Andrew, Ariel y yo fuimos.
Little plug there for Moonshine.
Yeah, for Moonshine. Pero la verdad es buenísimo. La educación que recibimos allá es increíble.
No solamente como tu podcast llega a mucha gente, Pedro, la educación que brindan ellos no solamente es técnica, o sea, no solamente cómo producir gin o vodka o ron, o también es parte del curso cómo presentar una etiqueta, cómo marketear, cómo producir. O sea, para tener tu marca de ron no es necesario que tengas una destilería.
Entonces, Ariel, ¿recuerdas el primer día? Sí. El primer día lleno de cosas ¿por qué no puedes, no es imposible para arrancar una destilería? Es el primer día. Todo para... ¿Recuerdas?
Sí, la primera clase es las dificultades que implican comenzar una destilería, que no es una gran idea. Si tu idea es tener tu marca de whisky o de ron o de gin, no empieza una destilería, empieza la marca. Después, pues, si te va bien, haces la destilería.
Y
Todos
entonces,
los trámites, todos los permisos, todos los costos, más de nada, porque es costoso, la verdad, para arrancar una destilería, para fabricar todo lo que necesitas para una producción de ron, es costoso.
porque es todo greenfield, la destilería, es todo nuevo. Y eso, y para mí, entonces, lo que estás haciendo en las partes sostenibles con Otiza, ¿qué son los obstáculos o los challenges o cómo están ver el elemento, el tema sostenible o sostenibilidad para la destilería? ¿Usan agua, energía?
Bueno,
Estos en los mismos.
nosotros tenemos una gran sinergia con Otiza. Te explico cómo funciona primero y después te doy un ejemplo por qué es mucho más sostenible nuestro proyecto que cualquier otro. En la industria azucarera y sobre todo en la industria azucarera orgánica no hay desechos. La caña de azúcar que se muele, sale jugo y sale bagazo. El bagazo es combustible para la caldera, entonces se vuelve a quemar. No hay basura. Ese mismo bagazo nosotros usamos de combustible en la caldera de Legado. O sea, también no usamos, no quemamos carbón. El agua que usamos es del acuífero natural. El pueblo donde está Legado se llama Arroyos y Esteros. Por el mismo nombre sabemos que está lleno de agua. Bueno, y un agua excelente. Entonces usamos nuestra propia agua, por supuesto filtrada, pero usamos el agua natural del acuífero guaraní. Y
La producción es reciclado, el agua.
Sí, la producción es reciclada y es cerrado, un sistema cerrado, no se arroja el agua a otro lugar. Y te decía la diferencia que nosotros tenemos con esta sinergia con, por ejemplo, una destilería que está en cualquier otro lugar que no tiene un ingenio azucarero que le provea de la melaza. ¿Qué hacen ellos? ¿Y cómo aprendimos sobre esto? Compramos ahora una máquina en los Estados Unidos que lo que hace es transforma la vinaza es el desecho de la destilación, en fertilizante. Anteriormente la vinaza la usábamos como fertilizante en su estado líquido. Salía la vinaza, que es un líquido caliente, y lo llevábamos a los campos a fertilizar en un método caro y poco eficiente. Esta tecnología nueva que adquirimos ahora, ¿qué hace? Solidifica esa vinaza para transformar en fertilizante. ¿Y dónde viene la comparación que quería hacer? La persona que desarrolló esta tecnología, ¿por qué la desarrolla? Porque destilerías en Centroamérica y en el Caribe compran la melaza de otros, compran grandes cantidades de melaza de ingenios y después, ¿qué hacen con la vinaza? La tiraban al mar. En el mar producía un efecto de retiraban el oxígeno y había mortandad tanto de corales como de peces. Entonces, este señor que hizo idear una tecnología que lo que hace es solidifica eso. Entonces, en vez de expandirse, queda un bloque. Nosotros llevamos un paso más. ¿Qué hacemos ese bloque? Lo extraemos y lo llevamos al campo para fertilizar. Otras destilerías que no tienen campo no pueden hacer eso. Entonces, estas sinergias con el ingenio azucarero y con los campos de caña de azúcar hacen que tengamos un sistema cerrado y muy verde, con un carbon footprint negativo.
Entonces, voy a hacer la pregunta en inglés. When I told you in the beginning, I wanted first to write a book. And the title of my book was, Is there a circular rum out there? En el tema de circularidad, circular, I think you're almost there.
Sí, la economía circular en un ingenio azucarero es prácticamente perfecta.
Yeah.
Recibimos algunos insumos externos como electricidad, pero ¿por qué? Porque no tenemos el dinero para comprar un turbogenerador. Si tuviera, si tuviera $1 millón sentado en mi cajón, me compraba un turbogenerador. ¿Por qué? Porque quemando el bagazo producimos vapor y producimos la propia energía. Entonces, el ingenio azucarero orgánico es un sistema cerrado, una economía circular, funciona muy bien. Y el ron, o la destilería de ron, eh, casada con lo que tenemos actualmente, está en el mismo ciclo cerrado.
Es perfecto. Y para mí es interesante saber cómo y qué más. Para decir así, hay también como destiladores que dicen, bueno, yo tengo que comprar mi caña de azúcar o molace de otro país o de otro lado. Entonces, 100% circular nunca puedo llegar porque no crece aquí a caña de azúcar. Yo digo, pero para otros como ustedes es como casi un mundo perfecto que tiene todo, bueno, en paso, let's say,
Existen
part of the supply chain.
todas las destilerías que son single estate, que están con sus propias plantaciones, pueden hacer un ciclo cerrado. La gran diferencia es ser orgánico o no ser orgánico.
Yeah.
El ser orgánico implica que no vienen químicos externos, que no vienen inputs externos que no están en el círculo. Para mayor producción le aplican químicos y eso no entra en el ciclo. ¿Por qué? Porque los suelos son afectados. Y las normas orgánicas nos obligan a la rotación
Yeah.
de suelo. Que si uno no tiene normas orgánicas, desgasta el suelo hasta donde puede y después pasa al siguiente. Entonces, con la norma orgánica y la obligatoriedad de rotar los campos, producimos unos campos, o sea, nos aseguramos de que estos campos sean fructíferos o sean fértiles todo el tiempo.
Yeah. Back to English.
Sure.
So you have your distillery, organic, fair trade, quality rum. Investors are lining up then to invest in the distillery. Or how to attract investors to invest in a distillery in Paraguay, which ticks all the sustainability boxes. How do you pitch that? Are you pitching it? Well, what is your lessons learned? And what is your advice maybe to other distillers to say, well, if you're looking at investors, what is for them interesting to learn?
Let me put it this way. I won't say no to money, but we are not actively in the search for investors. I think we are growing in the rate that we believe that we can manage.
Yeah.
And we want to be a very successful company, which does not mean we have to be a big, highly grossing company to be successful. So investors, we would be glad to talk to people that would like to be in the business or in the industry, maybe not as investors, maybe as partners, maybe develop something with them, maybe help open a market for more organic production. Maybe they're interested in doing some kind of different activity that is related to our organic distillery, and we can talk all of that. So yeah, we're open to talk to people. We're open to telling them what we did wrong or what we did right or what we think that we could have done better, and totally free. We invite people to come. I know COVID and this very different world that we're starting to live in doesn't make it easy as it was to get on a plane and go visit somewhere. But that's what we want. We want people to come and visit us. We are developing a visit experience where you can come, sit with us, experience the different drinks that we make, the different types of rums that we make, get to drive around the fields, get to talk to the people that are producing the sugarcane, get to talk to the people that are working at the mill, at the distillery, and make it an experience. Doesn't mean you don't have to buy rum. You can just come in for the visit. and maybe you'll end up buying some rum.
And eat some good meat in Paraguay.
Oh, of course. Of course.
But I'll add a little bit to that if I could, because in the beginning, so when we go back 3.5, 4 years ago, when we got together here in Paraguay, Andrew, Ariel, and I, and we were saying, you know what, we just really think that there's an opportunity to kind of build on what we already have. I mean, look, we sit right aside this incredible organic sugar mill that has this long history, and we just really aren't taking advantage of it and parlaying it into something that it really should be turned into. And that's kind of where we started throwing around the idea of an organic rum distillery. We were outsourcing our rum production, which we have done for years and years and years, to another company that would basically just take our light rum that came off the column there at Otisa. They would blend it down and then throw it in a barrel, and then they would just barrel it and age it at their warehouse for us. Well, so we've taken all that back in-house now with the build out of Legado. We've put in our copper pot stills. We've brought in just beautiful equipment from all parts of the world, and we're very happy with what we have. But we also knew that we were going to have an obstacle, because we went through all the exercises of creating the business plan for ourselves. We also put together the pitch book, because it's just a good process to go through to help you think of the things that you're not truly thinking of in the business plan, right? And so you're looking at it from the perspective of an investor, and that helps you to put different eyes on it, put a different look on the business. So we went through that process. We understood what it was going to cost, both dollar wise and sweat equity wise. And so while we didn't have to go out there and chase the dollar, this is completely self-funded. We did go through those exercises to help us with the build out of Legado. But we have other experiences here that we're currently going through. Drawing external foreign investment into Paraguay, I mean, it's an uphill climb.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know the challenges, because I tried to. What I said with the stevia, it was very difficult to get foreign investment into the country.
Right now, Dave and myself and Andrew are also partners in a cannabis project in Paraguay. So we're also trying to raise money.
You're saying because I'm Dutch.
Sorry?
You're saying that because I'm Dutch. No,
I'm very proud of the steps that Netherlands has taken towards the legalization of cannabis. That being said,
organic cannabis, right?
Yes, our project is organic. We already have the license. The licenses were issued for the first time in Paraguay last year, and we got one. So yes, we're gonna develop the project we're working on is organic cannabis, organic medical grade cannabis.
And then
working on convincing people to come and invest in Paraguay is not an easy thing, especially with the COVID business climate.
Well, especially when people's first question is Paraguay. I mean, that's always the first question. Most folks don't even know where Paraguay's at on the map. So,
well, when Dave said investing not only our dollars, you have to know that Dave moved his whole family, his wife and kids, to Arroyos y Esteros to work the distillery. So that is an investment, and that's what he means when it's not just sending a couple bucks and see what comes out of it. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into this.
And then going towards the end, thinking of your moonshot, and I'm thinking then an organic, botanical, cannabis style Paraguay rum. No, but then what is your moonshot in 5 years' time?
I love it.
Okay.
I'm writing it down.
Well, they're two separate branches, so I don't think we'll be able to legally entwine the two here in Paraguay. But no, our moonshot here for Legado, and Ariel mentioned it earlier in the interview, but we had a 5-year plan, and we were very dedicated to rolling that plan out. And because of COVID and all the changes that occurred during the last year, we're currently in about year 4 of our 5-year plan in the first year. We've just we've been hurtled forward, which has been an incredible amount of work. It's been an incredible amount of joy too. I mean, it's really been a really fun ride. It's caused a lot of stress, as you can imagine. We thought we had 4 years, and now we've rolled it all into one. But it's really been wonderful. I mean, how thankful we are for that. But our moonshot, kind of where we want to go with this, we want to continue to grow out our original business plan, which was to help folks that know their markets best. You know, a guy in Poland knows what's demanded in his market better than Ariel and I do. And so it's to help those customers that don't have the desire to start a distillery, but they want a brand. It's for those folks that want to start a distillery, but don't have the dollars necessary to do so. We're here to help both of those camps. And so, and we mentioned earlier, we have 6 clients, 2 here in Paraguay. We have a client in Canada, 1 in the US, and a couple in Europe. And so we're going to continue on that path. We're also going to launch our own brand, Legado, and that's to start out with is for the Swedish market. It's for a Swedish tender of organic and fair trade rum there. It's another thing that we didn't envision doing for at least the first 5 years, and now in year 1 we're doing it. And so I think what our desire is just to continually and smartly grow our distillery, so that we can support both types of those customers that I just described. And that I think here in 5 years, maybe we have another copper pot still that we bring into the fold. Maybe we have our vodka column that was in our original plan. And we're just continuing to turn out really good quality organic and fair trade spirits and grow at a smart pace and help our customers.
Yeah, if you ask me, the moonshot is getting a call from a good distributor that understands what we are doing and says, "Hey, I love Legado. I want to buy 10,000 cases a year." That's the moonshot, where we can grow the brand and Legado turns into the best known or the most well received organic rum in the world. That would be a moonshot. But we'll work towards it. It doesn't have to be a moonshot. We'll get there.
No, but I think you both explained it well. And the moonshot is the moonshot. You dream about it. It's out there, but it's also reachable in a sense. I think it's a good vibe, and you're flying already, like you said. What you had in 5 years' time planned, you're reaching most within the first year or the first 2 years of your development. Post-COVID, any chances then maybe then to boost that moonshot even more, coming to Europe, and hopefully then in 1 year time we have all the rum festivals in London, in Paris, in Germany, etc. That you're going to visit it?
Most definitely. One of the first objectives of David, Andrew, and I starting a company 15, 20 years ago was to get to travel with friends and visit other countries and meet people. So Legado is following on that. Once all these bans get lifted, we will be at every single rum fest or spirit convention that we can go to. We just love making the contacts. We love meeting people. We love getting our product known, and we're very proud of what we're doing. So just sitting there and telling people about it, it makes us happy.
Cool. Final question. If I ask you to pass the baton to someone else within, could be the rum sector, but you say, well, that's a person that we also admire in what he or she is doing and contributing, let's say, either to organic, sustainability, rum, etc. Who would it be?
You know, we have a client that I started talking with about 6 months ago. We're actually doing our first export to Denmark, and maybe you've heard of him, but Bintu Singh. I mean, his whole company is based on sustainability, right? A clean spirit, and I'm really impressed. I mean, it's for me, it's really far out there. I mean, because he's using wind powered sailing to bring his rum to Denmark from the Dominican Republic. But he's really committed to the sustainability of the consumption of rum. He's furthering that with from us. He's buying our organic and fair trade gin to kind of build out his portfolio. But for me, that's one that pops to my mind immediately. It's kind of a really interesting guy. Doesn't have a background in spirits. Came from actually the freight logistics is his background, and that's how he saw how it's really not a sustainable future for how these giant ships that are just pouring pollution into the environment. And he just thinks that there's a better way. We can't completely convert the whole scheme, but there are certain segments, so certain parts of those shipments that can be converted. And that's what he kind of started emphasizing on. And that's what led him into now a Clean Spirit, his new company. So he's an interesting cat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ariel, one final question to you. Tereré or rum? What would you choose?
Depends on what time of the day it is.
Okay, no, that's a good answer. Yeah.
Before 9 a.m., tereré. After 9 a.m., rum all the way.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We're actually doing infused rum, right? We're actually trying out our spiced rums infused with mate, with organic mate.
Okay.
So,
organic mate in the rum.
How about both of them? Can that be the answer?
So it's almost tereré.
Yeah. Then it can be 24/7. Yeah, you're drinking. Yeah, who's asking? Like, no, it's tereré. Yeah. Okay.
Come on.
Thank you very much, both of you, Ariel and David, for the interview. It was a pleasure and very interesting to learn more on what you're doing, and especially, like I said, the link with the sugar mill, your dreams and ambitions, and also sharing, let's say, the obstacles that you face and how you tackle it. So thank you very much again, and I will be staying in touch with you guys, following you, and looking forward to seeing you in Europe post-COVID at whatever event we will come across each other again.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your interest in what we're doing, and of course, please let's keep in touch, keep exchanging information, and anyone that talks to you and asks you about us, just send them our way. We'll talk to anyone and share information and share our experience with them, and maybe they get to try our rums. And most definitely, that first event that we can go to, we will be there.